Welcome to behind the scenes of D&D. Today I'm going to show you what we do at LTTV to set up for D&D.
Paul, this room looks like a mess. What do we do about that? How does this turn into, let me just show everybody the mess that this studio is. How does this turn into D&D, Paul?
First, we have to finish cleaning up some stuff from the last show, which is currently in progress. And then I think the first step is we'll bring out the tables and just get our cameras in place.
Do it to it.
All right, so we don't need this light anymore, obviously, so we're just gonna get rid of this. Do me a favor and put this lens cap on there. That better not have just broke. All right, I think after this light, we just have a couple of stands and then we are good to go for D&D. So what I've done is they are kind of coming up, but if you look on the ground here, there are these yellow little corners. That tells me the exact placement I need for the table so that our lighting up here on the grid is in the right position and I don't have to change it every time we set up for D&D. So we got our first table.
Now, Paul, how long did it take for you, like how many different recordings of different D&D shows did it take for you to figure out like the lighting for the setup?
Well, if you looked at the first one, we just kind of just put lights everywhere and really it just turned out to be terrible. The next, and after that,
for reference, that would have been Initiative Coffee Company's Emerald Blades. That was the first D&D game that we shot in the studio.
yes, so,
Okay, so
and then after that, that's when we realized that we gotta set custom lighting on the grid. And I think after maybe the fourth game is when we really figured out the true lighting. I figured out I could place some awesome lights on the ground that make a cool orange effect. We went out and bought like a little orange flashy light there, so we have awesome, like kind of fiery, kind of like intense kind of lighting.
So that would have been by the time we started doing the Bard's Tale?
Yeah, that's about right.
Okay. So then Bard's Tale Season 1 was pretty much the time that you had figured out the setup.
All right.
For lighting.
Yes, so I just need to make sure that we have our table here in the corner.
And after this is set, are you going to go over lighting or are you going to talk about cameras?
We could do cameras next. So, a majority of our cameras are the Blackmagic studio cameras. We also have one production camera that we have up, which is our wide shot and the jib. So we're gonna have to change out the lens to a Canon 10 to 18. Right now we have a 50 prime on there that we had for a different show. So our first one is the lovely Dungeon Master shot over there. So we hide this in a little crack behind the curtain here, where you will never see this on the wide shot unless you pay really close attention. So that's, okay. We just kind of hide that there.
All right, and that's the shot that shoots through to get the DM's
yes.
shot.
So we have that shot, right?
Okay,
and
so
then
it's looking this way.
This one is, our next one is already in place here. This one's shooting those two people on the other side of the table right there.
And that's the cross shot for the people sitting over
Yeah,
there.
so it kind of shoots over the shoulders of whoever's sitting on this side of the table. Okay. Our next one, is our other cross shot shooting these two people over there. So we can get that kind of set up.
So that's the 3 Blackmagic Studio 4K cameras.
Yes.
Okay.
And our next one is if we have someone sitting on the far side of the table, opposite from the DM, we'll have our, which are over here. We have a couple Panasonic DVX 180s that we use.
Is that the 180 or the DVX?
These are the DVXs. They should be in here.
So the DVX 200.
So these are okay cameras. They don't output 1080 or 4K, I should say, over the SDI, but we take the HDMI out, which should be right here on the ground, into our.
What do you use to convert that signal? We
have a Blackmagic HDMI to 4K SDI.
Okay.
That way we are still able to keep it 4K. Now we only export in 1080 because we've learned from previous times that it is let's just say too intense to export a video in 4K.
Okay.
But even in 1080, if we shoot in 4K, it still looks phenomenal.
So because of the length of the D&D game sessions, the size of the 4K files are just massive.
Yes.
Right? So we shoot in 4K, we record in 4K, but we export the final product to 1080 just to keep it reasonable for archival purposes and for upload.
Now, of course, in the future, I would hope to do maybe 4K if we get maybe like a supercomputer. But
or a new NAS with 32 or 64
yes.
terabytes
Now,
of storage.
why? There we go. That is better. Okay. So we have this on there.
So that's the opposite side of the table from the DM, the players at
Yep.
the
So we'll
end.
have that there.
Okay.
I always try to put it in as much as I can without interfering with our DM camera. All right, and then we have, so we need to get our other DVX, which is our close-up camera for the table up there. And then this is already set to shoot down. We'll put our camera, thank you, up here on the screw. So we'll screw that in, and then look at this. We have this HDMI perfectly set already.
So that camera is also an HDMI. Now,
This-
describe the reason why you don't need to have another Blackmagic conversion.
Yeah,
box.
exactly what I was going to talk about. So this one, this is a 50-foot expensive HDMI. This runs right into input 1 on our ATEM 1 switcher, so that we don't have to use more converters, because those things are $200. So we just have that ran right into the switcher itself, and then that gives us another camera option that we can use.
Okay. Talk about the jib real quick.
All right, so this is our makeshift jib. I wouldn't call it anything special. We have our just simple thing that we can move around with it.
Okay, so that is the remote for tilt up and down and pan left
Yeah,
and right.
so I'll just center that up for now. And then we can go into the fridge and we'll get a 10 to 18. Oop, that sounded.
So what kind of lens mount do we have on that production 4K?
We have, so it's a Canon EF mount, which allows us to use our many lenses, which is actually very organized today. I'm
You know why they're
impressed.
organized, Paul?
Because
Because
somebody
I
spent
came in
time.
this morning and
Yes.
had an OCD episode.
I am happy. It needed.
lenses.
It needed to be organized, so that's good.
Camera bodies. All right.
So as you can see, LTTV has a great program if you're interested.
Yes. All right. So you're gonna take off the 50 millimeter.
Yes.
Now, actually, tell our viewers, why did you have the 50 on there?
So I put that 50 on there earlier for the Tony and Heather music show. I love that 50. It's one of my favorite lenses. It has a super low f-stop of 1.4, and I think it just looks phenomenal. So
Okay.
we'll turn off the camera and
Always a good practice to
attempt to do
make
this.
sure the camera's off before you swap lenses, right?
All right, so we're gonna make a attempt here to do this without breaking anything.
Please don't break.
Whoa, whoa.
Give me that. Oh, good.
That's the bell. End of
Bell.
third. But thankfully,
This is real high school.
thankfully I am in here
Now,
almost
Paul,
all
you're
day.
a senior, so how long have you been doing LPTV?
I have been doing LTTV. I went to the first truck shoot of the year, my freshman year, and I've gone to at least 95, 98% of them ever since. So
over 400 productions?
yes, I stopped keeping track this spring when I hit 400. So I am I couldn't keep up anymore, but it is still growing and I'm still learning every day. All right, so we have that set.
And that's, what was the measurement on that lens?
So this is a 10 to 18. So if you look here, we're gonna have to tilt the jib down a little bit so you can see the entire table. We're gonna have it so it's still looking good so you don't see the top of the head of.
So you're tilting down.
Yep. So unfortunately, don't have a nice monitor to look at, so I just have to keep walking up and down until it looks pretty good. Just a couple more tilts down and then we'll be okay. All right, I think that's pretty good. So our next thing that we have to do is lighting.
So Paul, real quick, there used to be 7 cameras. What happened
Yes.
to the camera that we used to put at the end of the table?
So,
and why don't we use it anymore?
You know what? Give me a minute and I can show you. So in here, we used to use the, here it is. We used to use this exact setup here. It was the 4K Blackmagic Micro camera. We were having issues with it though. It would cut in and out, it would glitch, and really it would get sometimes in the way of a shot for the Dungeon Master shot, so we just kind of got rid of it. It's still here. Maybe we'll put it somewhere else someday, but at the moment it's kind of glitchy and we decided not to use it.
Okay.
So, lighting. Everything like we've talked about is already preset on the grid.
On the grid. Let's go
Now,
over them.
yes, okay, exactly what I was going to ask. So our first one is this janky looking kind of setup, but it's really not. It's the overhead table light, so that whatever terrain or whatever is on here, you can see it nice and bright. So we put like black fill, whatever it's called.
Foil.
Black foil around it, kind of to control the light, because it's a super bright light, and if there's nothing on there, it's just going to go everywhere. And then I put kind of like an orangish kind of gel on there, just to give it a little bit more of a warm kind of effect.
Okay.
Our next one that I guess will come over here that we need to set up is the backlight for whoever's sitting on this side of the table.
So the backlight for the people sitting right here
Yes.
is what? What kind of light do we have there?
It's just a simple LED light, so
That's a panel. Okay.
you can control.
And you have some gel on there?
Yeah, this is from the last show, so I can take that off. Our next one is the Dungeon Master light. So that's just a simple light that's pointing on directly to the thing. So
That's a Fresnel with the barn doors closed. But
yes,
no-
so
no-
barn door, so we can control the lights. So I believe it's 5-4 or 2. So that shines right on here. Next one is this light. So that's another Fresnel with a barn door.
I think somebody moved that because it should be, well, maybe. I don't know.
This
That's
is
another
a
Fresnel, that's the
backlight and maybe a little bit of a fill for whoever's sitting here, but backlight mainly for here.
Okay.
And our fill light for whoever's sitting here is directly above.
Okay. I'm going to go turn that on.
Sure. So I'll just go ahead and switch them all on. We'll go put this gel here because I don't need that anymore. So we got 6-2.
Oops, hold on. I need light to show you the turning lights on.
So yeah, we have
this is
this
the
lovely panel. Each switch directs a different outlet up on the grid. So I think there's, let's go through them. There's one. Nope. There's one. There's one. There, nope. We don't need that one. All right, I think that's all of them.
Okay, now we'll kill house lights. All right, so this is everything lit, right?
Yes. So we did have a couple more Fresnels, kind of like the other ones that you've seen earlier. Those unfortunately have died. Tried changing the light bulbs, still dead. So I had to get this Lowell. It kind of acts as, I kind of had to compromise. So it acts as a backlight for the people sitting here, but it also works as like our key and fill for the people who sit across the table.
Okay, so that's the one that you have the gel on, or the
Yeah, this is
diffuser on.
the diffusion just because it's pretty
Say hi,
bright.
Albert.
Albert's another, let's just say, behind the scenes person. He kind of directs sometimes or does audio
Yeah.
sometimes.
Okay, so, and then that light up there, that other Fresnel up there with the diffusion is the key light for the people sitting there at the end of the table across from the DM.
Yeah. So our last lights that I like the most, best part I think, are we use Kinos. I just set them on the ground, facing up, and then I have these orange gels over here, ready to go. So I'll put this directly behind the people, like right behind the people. We'll have that facing up. go ahead and plug this in.
Those
real
are your
quick.
background lights?
Yes, so, and I have these from last time. Let's go ahead and throw these awesome gels on here. And that kind of gives this a warm orange kind of fiery effect. And then we'll go ahead and turn on the other one. We'll put these gels on here. So we'll take off these cooler gels and we'll put on the warmer gels. Go ahead and turn that on. All right, that's
So you're using
enough.
layers of orange gels to get your background lighting?
Yep. So a whole bunch of orange gels kind of gives it a warm effect, and then when we're ready to go, we'll close up this curtain here, and then you basically just have a complete 360-degree set. And what's awesome is our control room right here is that you're still able to look right in. None of the cameras get in the way, and you can see through the window like at all. You don't just get to see through the window, and it kind of works perfectly. So, is there anything I'm missing for behind the scenes of D&D? Oh,
How
yes.
many microphones do you use?
So we have the ECM's 44Bs. This is the one that just broke, so maybe there's one in this one, and there's not. So
what do they run to? There's a snake under
So
the
yeah,
table?
we bought a snake not too long ago.
How old was the snake that we had in the studio before that?
So yeah, before this, probably with the original first episode with, what was it, Bard's Tale?
Yeah.
With the keynotes that I was talking about earlier. We had this old snake probably from like the 90s. We made a nice upgrade to a nice Whirlwind. And this is running directly to our audio board, which I also rewired in the control room, so it's all nice. Cable management, super nice. So
Let's go to that. So anybody can plug in microphones into the
Yeah.
snake, but why don't you do an overview of the control room?
all right, so welcome to the control room. This is where all the magic happens. So this is our rack of everything that we need for.
So you did this
thing.
This year, right?
Yes, so I found this case and I made it work perfect for us with the audio board on top. We have a recorder and then intercom's usually here.
So what's the Blackmagic? Talk about that.
So this is where we record in 4K 2398 to make it look cinematic. So we recently bought some nice Samsung SSDs so that we can record our 4K for as long as we need to. So I made it simple. You just turn on the rack. Everything will start up. We have our ATEM 1 switcher down here.
It's kind of dark there, Paul. Can you help me out with? I can't.
Oh yes, that's right, lights.
Oh, hey, look, rack
So
lights.
we
That's
have
pretty
some
good.
nice lights.
So you have what now?
So in short, we have a couple amps to power our speakers so you can hear the stuff. And then we also have, I put this switch in here. So we have the recorder and the switcher going all through there, right into our older computer, but we only use it to switch.
Okay.
I'll go
and
ahead.
then the switcher. Did you talk about the switcher?
So the switcher, it's a Blackmagic ATEM 1ME. It's got 10 inputs. It does 4K 30. Like I said earlier, we have input 1 is HDMI or SDI, which works great for us because then we can take the DVX 200 output right into the switcher, and then you can change it in here. So I think that's about it. So we have our Apple computers switch, which is currently starting up, and then we have our switching interface, which looks like we're missing some cameras, so we'll have to go ahead and change the camera settings to 4K 30. But there's our thing. Finally came up, so we just can go ahead and switch around whatever we want and take the camera. So we can put 5, take 5. So you can kind of see where the cameras are. So you have our overhead shot from the Blackmagic we had set up earlier, and then we have yes, that's from our makeshift jib, and then we have camera 5, which is one of our cross shots, and then I guess the other cameras, as you can see right there, is off. But yeah, it's super nice how you can see right into the studio and see exactly what we are doing. Really awesome, great set design, just 360 all around, and it's space to look right in while you're directing. So, is there anything else for
Thanks
behind
for
the
the tour,
scenes?
Paul.
All right, wonderful.